Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So those of you that follow my community posts know that I actually got into TSLY Friday, and this is one I'm really excited about. So I'm looking at different scenarios of, if you only invest 10,000, or say you invest 100,000 in the fund. So let's first look at Yahoo Finance and look how we ended up, because the fund fluctuated quite a bit Friday. I followed it pretty close actually. Got in for around like 1470 something, but it closed around $15, and I know it's up in the after hours trading. So I'm gonna go to Yahoo Finance, and we'll go over the latest dividend that it paid, which I believe was about 82 cents. So, because what I'm seeing like from my broker, the projected dividend income, because I helped a few people get into this. So, oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me. I don't think I was on mute. I wonder if there was like a delay or something. Was there a delay first? Hopefully not. The last video I did, I actually started it on mute. But anyway, yeah, let me know, because I think I was unmuted the whole time. But anyway, so yeah, this one, again, I'm really excited about. Got into it Friday for about 10,000. So we're going to look at what 10,000 approximately would pay out in dividend payouts, because it's oh yeah, my internet's supposed to be the best. I don't know why there's a delay, but anyway, I'm glad I have comments so early in the video. But anyway, so 10,000 would have gotten about, and it wasn't exactly, I did a little more than 10,000, so I'll just go over, like at 1475, would have gotten you about 678 shares. And if you're getting 82 cents, that would be 560 a month. So in this example, $10,000 could pay you $6,720 a year. So how sustainable that is, I have no idea. But knock yourself out on that, because that's like a 67% return. Now, the dividend that I'm claiming in the title and the thumbnail, which are different by about 3%, is based on the trailing 3-month history of the dividend. Now let's read this one here. TEHY announced this morning that APLY is launching. Interesting. What is TEHY? Is that like the fund family? So, oh, I see. A typo. APLY. APLY is launching on 4/18. So that's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully it's the same. Now, I happen to look, I notice you have a YouTube channel. So if you ever want to come on and do a collab, I'm open to that. So that would be cool. But anyway, so APLY, I'll have to look into that one. That might be one I want to get into, because Apple stock is getting expensive again. So let's see. Let me just Google on the phone here. Let's see. APLY ETF. Let's see here. And it comes up with something stupid. Let's see. So APLY, maybe it's too new. Let me see here. APLY ETF, Apple. Let's see. Huh. It's not coming up. Anyway, if you have an article, you can link to it in the comments there, and I'll pull it up, because I just tried to Google it on the phone and it didn't come up. So anyway, let's see here. Do I like TLTW? Yeah, but I think that's a bond fund, and like I said, my brain kind of just shuts off when it comes to bond funds. So it was good probably for the last year, but not so much now. Now let's see here. Here's a new comment here. Sam Talks Finance. Cool name. Do you run a channel too? We can always do a collab. I'm always open to that. Is TSLY something to hold long term? I'm going to be selling out a JEPI this week and was considering SVOL. Funny you say that, because a relative that I helped get into TSLY actually had them sell out of JEPQ, and they locked in about a 10% gain and took all of that money and invested in TSLY. So now their dividend portfolio has skyrocketed through the roof. They're basically projected to make more money now in dividends than they ever made working. So if that doesn't make somebody kind of rethink things, I don't know what does. But anyway, I can't say if it's something to hold long term or not. And let's see, second part of your comment. But I've been really curious about TSLY, but unsure if it's safe long term. Yeah, I really have no idea. Um, we'll have to see if this dividend sustains itself. But I will say, like I said in the other video I did about it, I've done a couple of videos now, but the latest video I did a couple days ago, basically the performance is the same as Tesla stock for a fraction of the cost. So you can get into this one for like a 12th of the cost and get the same performance of Tesla. Oh, okay. So yield max funds like TSLY. So I'm guessing they're going to be coming with one probably for all the FANG stocks, possibly, if that's still a thing, like Facebook, Apple, or Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, or something like that. That would be cool. And yeah, the JEPs, I do like both of them, but they're just expensive at this point. You can really get more bang for the buck, which is why I had the person, sell out of theirs, take a nice gain, already got a few months dividends, and then balanced into the TSLY. Let's see here. Yeah, please do list those. And then if you have an article talking about the APLY, paste it in the chat and I'll pull it up on here. But anyway, back to the topic of the video here, the TSLY. So I'm on Yahoo Finance here, and let's actually type it in. So see, like I said, about a 12th of the cost. It closed at $14.96 Friday, whereas Tesla closed at $185. And like I've been saying, I think now that the whole Twitter thing is done, all that's settled, the dust has all settled on that. And now that Tesla's going to be coming out with some new models, I think that there's some good upside to Tesla. So this could be really a great time to get in. And in the after hours, we're up to 1526 in this fund, or 2%. And also, this is going to go up, I believe, because Tesla earnings are coming April 19th. So that's only like a couple of business days away if you think about it. It's going to be Wednesday, basically. So yeah, the time to get in was probably last week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, but we'll see how it runs up here. We were just up to like 1725 in this fund March 31st. So yeah, it got beat up a little bit, but I think the window to get in is closing very fast here. To get in at cheap price anyway. It's a 0.99% expense ratio, which some of you would say is a little high. But as far as historical data, dividends are paying out solidly. So let's see here. And I have a feeling here, let's see. The one person that always asks me to do these and like $10,000 examples is probably not going to show up tonight. I know it's a Saturday and all. I usually am not doing a video at this time, but figured I would today. So let's see here. Sam Talks Finance. That sounds amazing. I don't have a channel yet, but I've been prepping to eventually make one. Well, the reason I say that is I see the red icon on your name there. So that means that you have some kind of maybe you created one and haven't done anything with it. Can I take that rain check? Yeah, absolutely. The hardest thing has been getting other YouTubers on here. I've only gotten one so far, and we run a podcast together. But a lot of these other people, I don't know. They just don't bite the hook. What I had been trying to do, all these people that reach out like on Facebook and other social media platforms about like business ideas and stuff, I said, okay, if your idea is so great, come on, pitch the idea to the audience, and we'll let the audience decide if your idea is great or not. Ironically, a lot of these people have kind of clammed up when it comes to that because they're very open as far as like pursuing me or other people just on a one-on-one chat. But when you propose the idea of coming in front of a whole audience, all of a sudden they're not so confident in their product, shall we say. But anyway, it is what it is. So what's the other part of your comment here? Sounds like my JEPI is going into TSLY. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. Like I said, none of what I'm doing is advice. It just happens to be, in some cases, what I do myself, but not advice. Okay, and now we have this list here. List of yield max ETFs. Oh, good. You just gave me a whole new, I can basically continue the series for another month now. So I've got like, what is it? There's like 10 of these, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 10. Wow. And I know what these are. This is APLY's Apple, That's Amazon. The YBRK. Oh, that's probably Berkshire Hathaway. CONY. What's that one? I'm not sure. FBY. That might be Facebook or Meta. Google. GOOY. NFLY. NVDY. NVIDIA. SQY. That's going to be Square. I like a lot of these. I don't know. Good question here, Jose. Are these other ETFs out already? I'm not sure. You'll have to answer him here, Damon. Are these out already? I'm assuming they are. Well, I don't know because you said the Apple one's coming out on the 18th. But these, oh yeah, here you go. You mentioned already. You guys are a little bit ahead of me. Most of them haven't hit the market yet. Okay, good. Good audience participation here. And I might be at a record here for concurrent viewers, 11. Let's keep that count increasing. And just a friendly reminder, there's such a thing as the super chat feature. I think I have it activated. So let's see now. Where are we? We have a Chili's ad that just disappeared and TSLY. So TSLY, I think I was about to show the dividend history, but I got sidetracked responding to comments. So let's scroll down here. And we've got 4 of them now. Now, the one, because I just bought this Friday, so I doubt I'm going to actually get the one. I think you would have had to have been in by April 6th to get this one. Those of you in the comments can either confirm that or refute that. But I know my broker is actually showing that I would get it because it's going to be paid out. But I don't know because I wasn't in April 6th. But you can see now we've had 4 dividend payouts in this fund. The 99.9 cents, 90 cents roughly twice, and then 82.9. So the dividend's dropping a little bit. So that's why, we're not sure how it's going to sustain itself, but it's still a really solid dividend. And like I said, if you get, so I went over 10,000. If you get 100,000 in this guy, this is going to be really phenomenal. So if you had 100,000 and you bought it all Friday at 14.75, hold on here. 14.75. That would be 6,780 shares times 0.829. 5,000. You're just adding another zero. So you'd basically pay yourself an annual salary, $67,500 on $100,000. If you put 100,000 into this thing, I have to say that's very tempting. What do you all think I should do? So if I have $100,000 in my brokerage portfolio, should I just sell everything and get it all into the TSLY? Is that too risky? Granted, the brokerage portfolio is not everything, like I've got separate 401ks and stuff. So the brokerage is probably maybe 20% of the overall. Oh, you're saying don't do it. I don't know. That's tempting because $67,000 a year. I don't know if it's going to sustain itself, but if I could just get that for 1 year, I could actually say, how many videos, how much material I would have on that alone. Of course, like some of these channels, I could just make it up and say I did, but I like to be honest, but I could say I made a year salary in dividends. Oh, are you saying it's been, well, I don't know, because I just went over it. It's been it's basically mimicking Tesla. If you look at it, basically I did the video with the bar chart and I overlaid the charts. So it's basically mimicking Tesla almost perfectly. So let's see, TSLY. I'm liking all these comments. I've got to catch up here. I'm going to show them all. All right, we're up to 13 live viewers. This is awesome for a Saturday. Wow, let's keep it going. Let me know if anyone finds that super chat feature, by the way. Okay, so yeah, the stock, you could look at it as though it's been losing ground since December, but so has Tesla stock, right? If you overlay the charts, they're almost exactly the same. $21. It bottomed at 13.32. And then it had a second bottom March 9th at 14.61. Then it started to come back. It's up and down, really, just like Tesla stock. Again, overlay the charts and check it out. Like I said, I'm really bullish on Tesla. I think Tesla's going to come back. So let's see. Looking at year to date with Tesla. Now, the bottom of Tesla and TSLY was also March 9th, but it seems like the bottom was a little more profound for TSLY than it was for Tesla. And I'll pull this up here too on Yahoo, but I'm looking at the phone here. All right, 15 live viewers. Let's keep it rolling. Loving this. Okay, let me go back up here. I missed some comments. So you said, I think it's risky, but I have 12,000 TSLY right now. Let's add that up. So 12,000. So that's paying you, just taking the base case scenario on the dividend, 12,000 times, not to call this out here, but it's kind of cool. So you're making like 10,000 a month in dividends. So there's like, you don't even need to work with that. That's like your income, and then just run your YouTube channel, which I think is about cars or something. I saw, because everybody that subscribes to me that has a channel, I can see like if they're publicly subscribed to me. So that's cool. Good for you. That's where I want to get. And then Sam Talks Finance. You could always just pull the dividends in case. Super tempted. How do you mean pull the dividends? And then you said ticker O is much safer, passes the Charlie Munger test. What ticker O? What's is it, you mean one that ends with O? Let me look this up now. Is there such one as you guys will have to clarify that for me. Okay, and then you said, let's see, I'm going to put a couple grand in this week and start to kick off the position. I don't have a ton to work with, but the dividends are massive. Ironically, this doesn't seem like it has a downside. Well, remains to be seen. But remember, as far as mindset, don't say, I don't have a ton to work with, because all you got to do is get into the dividends and start accumulating dividends. Then you start to realize you do have some to work with. It just takes, you got to get a little bit saved up. That's a trick. Once you get like a few $100,000 to play with, you can do a lot with it, or less than that, maybe even 100 or 200,000. So let's see here. I think I missed a couple of comments up here. Yeah, Chili's ads. Ex-dividend date was April 6th. Someone named Eugene showed up and said hello. Thanks for the comment. Glad you joined in. Any other comments, feel free to leave them. And then let's see here. Okay. Oh, you do have a comment down here. Cool. Let's see. I love your podcast. However, when such a high dividend is paid, would its value drop by the same value? Well, that's what always happens. But remember, because that's how dividends work, they come directly out of the price of the stock or the fund in the ex-dividend date. But it depends how long it takes it to recover. So you'll see that reflected in the price when it does actually pay out, which I think is on the 18th. So when that happens, you'll see like the dividend subtracted from the fund price, and that could be a good time to get in too. But hopefully with funds that are really good, it's going to recover pretty much immediately. So thanks for that. Okay, so looking at these dividends here, let me do a 4-month average, because it's not quite, I've been using 82.9 as an example, and then go into the spreadsheet too. But let me just take this average, 0.999 plus 0.903 plus 0.902 plus 0.829 divided by 4. So it's averaging 90 cents a month times 12. So that's 1090 divided by, what did we say it was, 1496. So it's still about a 73% dividend payout. So what that means, for every $100,000 you put in, you're making 73,000. So it's like making it rain. I mean, it's like, here's 100, boom, 73,000 in income. And ideally, in a perfect world, that price of the fund won't drop. So your 100,000 in principal stays preserved. Now, let me just show, for those of you that wanted the visual, I might actually just go back to bar chart again. Let me see if I go back to bar chart. I may still have it up, actually. I want to overlay both of the charts and show you how they're pretty much almost like 90% correlated. So here's Tesla. And what I want to do, let's see if I remember how to do this here. I want to add TSLY to it. Let's see. Not that one. Let's see. Bar chart. Compare stocks. Just try to backtrace it here. Okay, so now got to get rid of these. It's got all the FANG stocks up here. Get rid of these, and then TSLA, TSLY. And then for those comments I got about the fund ending in O, did we ever figure out which one that was? Which one is that? let's see here. Oh, you know what? That's I said O, but it is O. You're right. Realty income. Yeah, I've actually researched that one before. I'm glad you all mentioned that one. Great minds think alike. Yeah, it's just the ticker is just O. And if I remember correctly, I think that actually pays a really good dividend. So yeah, duh, it's just ticker symbol O. 5% dividend. And wow, it's kind of dropped a bit. Bottomed out at like 59 something March 23rd, and then it's at 60 something now. Been a little choppy. This would be a good one to trade options on if you can time this, because it's like I'm looking at the 2022, going back to September 2021 when I started this channel. 62.98. Then it peaked at 71, dropped to 66, went up to 71, dropped. So this, if you could time this correctly, you could make a lot of money on options on this. I wonder if Mr. Munger is doing that. You all know Warren Buffett trades options too. Look up the $7.5 million in like 30 seconds example. He was selling like covered puts on Coke. So let's see. Yeah, another one, June 13th all the way to August 10th, August 12th. We saw it go up from 63 to 74, and then we had a big drop off from August 12th to October. So that would have been a good time for put options. So if you can time these right, I mean, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of money to be made in options. So let's see here. Sam Talks Finance is really talking finance today. Lots of comments. By pulling the dividends, I mean just don't have them drip, and you could just put the dividend right into your bank account. That's what some people do with CDs, and I laugh at it because, well, CDs are a whole different ballgame. But if you're going to be, shall I say, stubborn enough to get into CDs, and you're only getting that 4 or 5% yield, and then you take it instead of compounding it, it's kind of like you're defeating the purpose. But anyway, I actually do this myself because what happened, a lot of the dividend stocks I was in, they were getting to their 52-week highs. So I stopped reinvesting because I was getting less fractional shares because they were closer to the 52-week highs. So what I did, I just took the cash and I would invest in other funds with it, which is probably what I'll do here. But you can really roll if you just reinvest the dividends, like in a cheap fund like TSLY. I did that example, and I'll pull up the spreadsheet towards the end. This video is going to go a while because I'm getting a lot of good participation. I'm definitely going to milk this for what it's worth. I like it. So let's see here. And then, okay, so you said, he responded here. Exactly, no point in drip when the stock might be up 10%. You'll just be raising your average cost. Well, that's my thoughts too. So, and then James Stower said, there will be 10 yield max on single stocks and 5 on ETFs. I don't reinvest the dividends back into TSLY, but use them to buy JEPI. Yeah, but JEPI has gotten so expensive now. As better long-term play since tied to the S. Oh, is it tied to the S&P? You know, I didn't know that, and I'm in this fund too. I think I'm in both of them. I'll have to look again, but I like the UPRO also. I've done several videos on that, trading options on the UPRO, also the 3x levered S&P ETF. But JEPI, like I say, the cost is so high right now. I like the cheaper ones like the SVOL. It's like more bang for your buck. But yeah, I think we have a consensus as far as not reinvesting the dividends at this point. So Eugene says, interesting, Sam Talk and James for your ideas, appreciated. This is great. We've got like a collaborative community going here. I like it. And then Zim really surprises me. Yeah, Zim's one of my favorite wild cards. It paid out the dividend and the price dropped and almost 100% recovered. That one, I'm telling you, that one's really starting to intrigue me. And as far as cornerstone funds, I did videos on those, but those I think have been around since like 1987. And if you look at it, it's been like a nosedive. So they're like, they used to be in the $100 range or more. Now they're like $8 or less. So, and I think I definitely did one on CLM. Can't remember if I did CRF or not, but I'll add those to the list too. I wonder what ETFs yield max would have. I'll paste that because we had another commenter up here show that, or was nice enough to paste them for us. Here we go. I found it. So far, this is the list according to this commenter. So we've got 10 of them: APLY, AMZY, YBRK, and you see the rest of them. I'm not going to read them all out, but yeah, there's about 10 of them there. So write that down. I'll leave that up there for a second. And let's see here. Where were we? Lots of good comments here today. I've got one coming up on Zim here. Well, I know you all can see the comments, but I just like to put them, that way they're in the video too, because it's only showing this screen. So anyway, okay. Zim, ETFs, okay, we talked that one. Sam talks finance, talking more finance. No problem, Eugene, good. Damon is also dripping 20,000 per month back into the portfolio. That's what he'll use to buy into APLY. Great idea. That's exactly what I would do too. Zim is shady. Yeah, I haven't gotten into Zim yet. I like Icon Enterprises too, which I know you like a lot. And I'm just to the point right now when I can get these cheaper ones, I just keep getting those instead of getting the stocks. But it's kind of like I'd rather just have more bang for the buck at this point. Jose wonders why. Probably, I'm presuming why you think Zim is shady. Like I said, there's a kind of a split consensus on that one. Glenn Furs says, I purchased 100 shares of TSLY yesterday using a new Webull brokerage account. Oh, how's that going for you? I only got the free stock on there. I'll tell a funny story. When the pandemic started, I got into Webull because I was following another popular finance YouTuber at the time. This is before I ever started the YouTube channel. Should have done the YouTube channel probably 2 years before I actually wanted to, but believe it or not, it took me a couple of years of like kind of halfway thinking about it and then forgetting about it and just being in the same rut of the corporate world and whatnot. But the bug finally bit me full time in September 2021 when my company started wanting to rush us back to the office. But anyway, side story there. But I got into Webull and I tied up like $2,000 at the time, and I missed out on. I got my 5 free shares of stock, but I missed out on a lot of the market upside. When like March 2020, we bottomed out and then we shot up so quick. But anyway, so the rest of your comment here, you said 100 shares of TSLY using Webull. Yeah, keep us posted how that goes. Unallocated funds in Fidelity Roth IRA. Was it a mistake not to have purchased the shares using Roth funds? Honestly, if it were me, I'd buy it in both. In fact, I own the same stock in multiple accounts if it's one I really like. Like one of my favorite stocks for the longest time was Blackstone, and I owned it in like 2 or 3 accounts. And let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of guess what these tickers are. YBRK for Berkshire. Wow, we have a record live audience, 18. Let's get it up to 20. We're only 2 away. YBRK Berkshire. Yeah, like I said, you can guess. You can just look at the ticker and guess which stock it's mimicking. And then LD350 says mine is JEPI, JPQ, SVOL, and TSLY. I'm guessing that's your whole portfolio. I think I own all of those too at this point. And he says, Damon, you're going to be YieldMax's best customer. Well, that's good. We have another agreeer that Zim is shady. They rent cargo ships and list them as assets on their balance sheet. Honestly, so you're looking into what they actually do. I mean, that's just, who has time for that? I mean, just buy it if it goes up. I'm just kidding somewhat. I actually did look at the Zim's balance sheet, but I mean to say that they're really overperforming as far as like what I can tell. APLY would be around 30 to 40%. And these are eye-popping numbers here. NVDY maybe 35 to 45% yield. You think so? I mean, it's not as good as TSLY, but it's closer. So 19 live viewers, loving it. CONY is a coin. What coin? Like a crypto? And now Eugene says, would you be so kind to give your opinion as SVOL being is that I position for long-term portfolio like set and forget? Yeah, I would be so kind. I've talked about SVOL a lot. Is it long-term? Well, I think we've only got like 2 years of like case study history to go over. So, I mean, I don't see it going anywhere, but then again, what do I know? I mean, I'm in it. So, I don't see it going anywhere. Like I'm saying, you probably could maybe set and forget. What's this one? Oh, CONY is a coin like TSLY. Really? It's like a coin. Interesting. Interesting. What's this one now? Boat ETF has the shipping stocks. Interesting. You know, boat stands for break out another thousand or bust out another thousand. I'd rather, if I, instead of owning a boat, I'd just rather rent one. It's just way too much maintenance. After you've been out on the boat all day, you got to like dock it and clean it. And like, I just want to have fun on the boat. I don't want to do all this maintenance stuff. It's overrated. But anyway, there's a boat ETF too that pays an 11% dividend. It stands for Sonic Shares Global Shipping ETF. Interesting. How long has this one been around? I'm looking at the phone here, but I should be sharing this on the screen. So this one goes back to 2021. I'm going to add this one to my list here. What were the other ones? CLM. Um, well, I'll just try to write these down. Okay, let's see. CONY, we covered that one. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going back to TSLY. I'm going to do the overlay chart here between TSLY and TSLA, and we're only one live viewer away from 20, which we keep breaking the record here. That's awesome. So one more live viewer has to show up. As soon as we get that, we'll definitely be in business. I mean, we are already, but let me see something here. Oh, let's see. Okay, back to the screen here. We hit 20. All right. That's awesome. Very happy with that. Okay, so back to the screen here. This is great. This is great attendance here for a day like today. So bar chart. Okay, where is the chart here? I just did this. Oh, view comparison chart. It's right in front of me. Okay, so what I want to show you all is how these charts pretty much overlay each other directly. So in the blue, now what you're going to notice here, because some of you, this is the first thing you look for. You look for like the negative, like, oh, how far is it down? What you're going to notice in the blue is TSLY, and it's actually down 25% from inception, whereas over the same amount of time, TSLA or Tesla is down only 9.75%. But what did you miss? It's only down 9.75% over a longer period of time. You see that? Because the charts here that kind of look like runes, or I mean, you know, it's not candlesticks, but for whatever reason, it looks like runes on here. For TSLA, Tesla, goes all the way back to October. So it's only down. See, if we were looking at the same time frame here, it would be less. See, we're not quite comparing apples to apples. So hopefully, those of you that notice that first off, you notice that little detail there because that's important, right? But what I want you to focus on is right in here, okay? The blue chart and the runish looking chart, pretty much like a 90% correlation between the ups and downs. You see that? So here, I don't know what happened here, but right now the TSLY is slightly underperforming Tesla from January 27th to March. It's slightly underperforming it, which I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's like not recovering from the dividend payout or what. But what you'll notice here, if you take the same time horizon, you see Tesla was down 13.67% instead of 9.75. So TSLY is still down, wow, almost 12% more. But I would just say to ignore that because the fund just started. We don't have a lot of sample history on it. So, but I wanted to show that you can see the chart's almost like a direct correlation. So now back to Yahoo Finance here. Let's see here. Okay, no new comments. So Yahoo Finance, so I want to look up a couple of the ones that have been mentioned here. Boat. We'll look at that one. That's another shipping one. Now, would you say that's comparable to the Zim? It's more expensive than the Zim right now, but it looks like it only goes back like 2 years or so. It wouldn't hurt, you know, just to have like 10 shares of Zim really wouldn't hurt. So yeah, maximum here since August 2021. We were still in the the bear market there in 2021. So this one's up still in like 2 years. It's still up. It peaked June 7th. It hit like its 2022 low in September, and then came back to almost $32, and it's hovering about the same right now. Yield 10.95%. Year-to-date daily total return 15% since the beginning of 2023. And let's look at historical data, dividends. Then we'll look at Zim, just for the fun of it. All right. Oh, and today's normally tax day in the US, but it's a weekend. Oh, look at that. SeaWorld has Seven Seas Food Festival. How about that? They're all doing that. All the parks do this, like food and wine. Okay. All right. Dividends only. So, this is quarterly and dropping. See that? Since June 28th, $1.27, September, $1.07, December, 65 cents. It's like dropping in half. So this one kind of screams avoid, at least to me, because the dividend is dropping. So let's look at Zim, because one of you pointed out that Zim actually paid out the dividend and recovered really quick. So that definitely piques my interest. So Friday, we were up $1.30 to 6.39% to 21.65. And let's see, dividend. Yeah, that thing did recover fast. I remember looking now so I think the dividend paid out here, right? Was it April 3rd? Boom, we had a roller coaster drop to 17.63, but we've almost recovered fully from the dividend payout. And then, yeah, because the ex-dividend date was April 4th. Fair valuation still listed at 1983, but what do these clowns know? The Yahoo stock valuation team. It's beat earnings 3 of the last 4 quarters, and it's got a very low threshold. Earnings, look at that. May 15th, earnings are coming out on Zim. Now, for Tesla fans, as we'll keep redirecting back to the actual topic of the video, Tesla earnings are coming out April 19th, so Wednesday. So I'm looking for, like I said, I've missed out on a lot of the upside of Tesla over the years. And like I said, the difference between me and other influencers on here, like some of the big finance gurus on here, if you call them that, they got into Tesla at the right time. They had like the perfect timing. Whereas I guess I wasn't bold enough at the time to try to take the risk, but should have probably been. So yeah, year to date, Tesla is actually up like 70%. And if you add, like I said, in TSLY, if you add the dividend to the performance of the fund, you have like a 25% and 30%. So you're at like 55 or 60%, depending on how you add it up. So you're very close to the performance of Tesla for a fraction of the cost. So yeah, and then earnings are coming April 19th. Let's look at how they've been doing earnings-wise. They've beat earnings the last 4 quarters, which makes you wonder why the stock plummeted as much as it did. I guess it was because of Elon's deal with Twitter. Which reminds me, I got forced out of Twitter. That still ticks me off. Elon's deal with Twitter. I got forced out of my Twitter shares, and I didn't want to sell them. So let's see. Okay, went over that one. If I understand right, the fund managers issue CCs at 6 to 15%. What's a CC? I'm drawing a blank. So if the stock outruns the covered calls, right? Is that? Then the fund would lag behind the stock price. If the stock outruns, let me think about this for a second. If the stock outruns the covered calls, how do you mean outrun? Then the fund would lag behind the stock price. Well, if it starts going up, then the whole covered call thing, like when you're selling covered calls, you're banking on the stock to either stay flat or go down because you want the thing to expire out of the money, so you keep the premium. But then if the stock starts going up, you're not going to have. It's going to end up either costing you more money to buy it back, or you're going to get called out of those shares. So does that answer your question? I'm not sure. And then, is yield max too good to be true? It kind of seems so. I mean, it kind of like at this point, 75% dividends, I don't know how sustainable they are. And then you said, still learning, but Webull is powerful and excellent, but never leaving Fidelity. Thanks for answering my question. Yeah, you're welcome. Fidelity, I actually use Fidelity for another account. I've been using E-Trade, but they're starting to tick me off. Um, Fidelity, I'm using TD Ameritrade, which I think is the best of all of them as far as US brokers. I love the Thinkorswim platform. I just wish I could share my screen on here, but StreamYard doesn't let me share my screen through Chrome from external like desktop apps. But I would absolutely love to go into TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim and show some of these back tests of option trades because it's phenomenal. My favorite example is the $500,000 Amazon call option trade in 2020. I'll figure it out one day, but once I figure it out again, because I used to be able to share it, but once I do that, I'll show all those back tests. So, and then Sam is talking more finance here. I have to head out since I'm waking up super early. Thank you so much for all your info and encouragement. Looking forward to connecting soon. Sounds awesome. So I guess Sam is done talking finance for the day. I have to keep making that joke because of your name, but you know, it just it kind of necessitates the joke, in my opinion. All right. So Tesla. Okay, so we've talked about that a pretty fair amount. So let's go to the spreadsheet now. And I think I have this one already in there. So stop screen. Hopefully I remember all of these. I've got to go back to these live comments and note down all the ones that you all have told me about. A lot of really good ones. So, okay. Spreadsheet is going to be here. Spreadsheet. Let's see. Here we go. Untitled spreadsheet. Got a lot of tabs open here. Let's see what comes up here. Sheet 7. I still haven't named it yet. Okay, zoom in 200. And then we're going to go here. I think TSLY is at the bottom. Somewhere around here. But I got a lot of new ones to cover, thanks to you all. There's Zim, OARK. And this is the example we've been doing with, the $1 million. This is basically what you would make per month with $1 million. This is the dividend history here for 4 months. Dividend, total payout. Compared it to the S&P 500. Here would be by year, 10,000. So you'd make 6,900 your first year. Your second year with compound interest, assuming it stays the same. Year 1, year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like in 10 years, you'd get up to, you'd like 100x your money. But on $1 million, you'd make 675,000. Sometimes I do stuff in here and I forget what I did. D111 is that one minus 120,000. Why did I subtract 120,000? I can't remember. What was I doing? What I want to show, if you basically, and this is the example I did here. So the dividend is basically paying like almost 7% per month in the first month, 6.1%, 6%, and down to 5.6% over here. So the point being, if you reinvested this dividend, assuming everything else stays the same, you would have, instead of 675,000, you would have 915,000 because of the compounding effect. So your $1 million in this case would double to almost 2 million, which is phenomenal. And for the other examples, remember, all you really have to do is shave off a 0. So if it was 10,000, you'd have $9,150. If it was 100,000, you'd have $91,500, which is a nice, annual salary. So if you get into these, like the commenter said earlier, it almost seems too good to be true. Holy cow, I got a super chat. All right, thank you so much. First in the history of this channel, by the way. I'm going to remember your name. I really appreciate that. I'm going to put that up here. Damon Rydell, you have a car channel. We need to do a collab. Thanks so much. Really, really appreciate that. First in the history of the channel. All right. So, and then we had some other comments come in here. Join Jen. YieldMax does not have dividends. It is tax, covered call option income. I know there's a lot of downside to Um, taxes, like, well, with dividends, like taxes are one of the main downsides that you all talk about. But you know what? Like I say, uh, when you're making money, you're going to pay tax on it. Just like if you're getting dividends, it's the same thing. Dividends outside of an IRA, in like a brokerage account or whatever, when you um, when you get the dividends, right? If they're like ordinary dividends or qualified dividends, you're going to pay some kind of a tax. So it is what it is. You're making money, you pay tax. We live in the U.S. Unfortunately, we pay tax. The tax code isn't always fair, doesn't always lead to a balanced budget, but that's another story. So, okay, LD350 says I have XYLD and Devo for a little more stability. Remember, if your tax situation gets out of hand and can't be mitigated by standard deduction, then you can put some dividends in a VTEB for taxes. Well, I have to say, if you're not getting the standard deduction after it got doubled a few years back, which I think is one of the best things ever done to the tax code, by the way, the brackets were kind of like expanded, and they also indexed for inflation, and the standard deduction for single individuals and for married couples doubled from what it was. So if you're still itemizing, you're really making a lot of money. So because the standard deduction is pretty much the standard way to go for most people at this point. But you're saying if your tax situation's out of hand, can't be mitigated by standard deduction, you can put some dividends in a VTEB. You want to explain to the audience what a VTEB is? Because not everyone on here, I'm sure, is as sophisticated on their tax knowledge as you are, including me. That's why I need you to explain that, at least for me, if not the rest of the audience. Wow, I'm so moved by that super chat. Thank you so much. That's the first in the history of this channel. Now I know based on the comments I get, a lot of you are, like I said, you seem to be doing really well following what we talk about on here, even though it's not advice. Like I said, a lot of this I either do myself, or sometimes the money's not always like lined up at the right time to do it. But if it was, I definitely do it, but not advice, but I'm glad to see it's benefiting all of us. So let's see now. Like I was saying on the screen here, the 915,000 for TSLY is if you compound it. So if you reinvest the dividend monthly, assuming everything else stays the same, then you make way more money. So with that, hope everybody gets the gist of that. Um, that's a more deeper dive into the fun there. Does anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns, feedback? I'm so glad that one of you discovered that super chat feature. I knew it was there, but thank you again. And if there's no other comments or anything, I'll go ahead and end it there. Really good video, really good collaborative session here. Had a record number of live viewers. Got the first super chat. So thank you all again, and hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.